celebrate tomorrow? Yeah. Put it up so we can hear.
Some of his famous speeches, like the I Dream speech, and also
He stopped segregation.
made rights and fair to
He made rights fair to all people, whatever color their skin was. Was it like that before when he was born? What kinds of things were going on when he was born?
treated very fairly.
Unfairly. What were you going to say, Ben? Is it Ben?
If there were no more seats on the bus and a black person was sitting on a seat and a white person didn't have one, the black person had to stand up and give that seat to the white person.
Right. Exactly.
Basically, like everywhere was segregated. Everywhere there was a place that all the black people had to go, but they couldn't be in the same spot as white people.
Yeah. And it seemed to be particularly hard in certain parts of the country. But, as we've learned, it was pervasive. It affected where people could live, where they went to school, how much money they made, whether they could, yeah.
There's also a lot of people who are black who get accepted into a lot of colleges too.
Correct.
They didn't get into college.
They didn't get into colleges as frequently as white people, or didn't get into the same colleges that white people were getting into more easily. Yeah. So what did Dr. King say?
He said that was very unfair. I should do something about this.
Yeah.
I don't know, just to this day, they just did speeches and that changed people's mind about what could happen.
Yeah, he had a dream. And he imagined the world different than it was. And he imagined a country where everybody had a fair chance to get the opportunities in life. Did people listen to his speeches and say, oh, good idea, let's do that? No.
It took more
Persuasion, yeah. How did he persuade people? How did this happen? Was it easy or hard? Hard. What do you think? Anybody else? Was it hard? Yeah. Difficult. Yeah. And what are some of the things that made the changes happen? Maddie. It's Maddie, right? Is that your name? Yeah.
He did peaceful marching instead of fighting.
That's right. He advocated for peaceful marching. Sort of like Gandhi, he decided that he would motivate people to march and draw attention to the issue. So mostly grown-ups got involved in the civil rights movement. Did any kids get involved in it? Yeah, Lorelai.
Ruby Bridges.
Yeah, what'd she do?
She was one of the first black students to go to an elite school.
Correct. You think it was easy? No. Did people say, come on in, Ruby? No. They did the opposite, right? Yeah. What?
I remember earlier this week in school we were watching a movie about enzymes, and it was talking about how most of the white kids, their parents took them from the school because they didn't want their kids to be learning for that.
That's right. There came a time in the civil rights movement when it seemed to have lost momentum, and changes weren't happening. Dr. King didn't quite know what to do, and all the ministers talked about it. The people that went to church talked about it, and they got this idea. Here's a picture of a little girl in church talking about it. And they would have what they called altar calls, where people would come forward and pray about it and work or not. It was a big risk. And this one girl got really involved. She was the youngest marcher of all. There's a picture. This book that you're going to take down to your class together. Here she is, Audrey Faye Hendricks. That's a picture of her. When she was 9 years old, in her church, they said, who would like to march? Who wants to march? And children can march now. And she came forward and stood. She was a little nervous about it. And her grandparents hugged her, and her parents hugged her, and everyone prayed for her in the whole church. And she bravely went off with a lot of other kids. And you know what? It wasn't easy. And she actually spent some time in jail with some of the other kids because she got arrested. Everyone prayed for her, and when she got out of jail, she went home, and her parents were really proud of her. And the thing that happened was the Children's March changed the whole civil rights movement and inspired lots of grown-ups to really